in the last week or so, and we've been doing a little research, and I've noticed something. There's a lot of articles and stories written about people about what's going on with storage unit auctions. There's one thing that's missing. Most of the people, I'm not, from what I read, I'm going to say all, have never actually bought a unit. They've observed other people and seen a few things. So it's going to be really hard to sum up this industry. I've really just started this project in the last week or so, and we've been doing a little research, and I've noticed something. There's a lot of articles and stories written about people about what's going on with storage unit auctions. There's one thing that's missing. Most of the people, I'm not, from what I read, I'm going to say all, have never actually bought a unit. They've observed other people and seen a few things. So it's going to be really hard to sum up this industry by going to one auction or maybe a day of auctions and watching what other people do. So, that's going to be the difference from the information that I give you and the information that you get from them. Because you'll read the stuff and you're like, Glendon's crazy. You really can't make any money with this. Most of them are full of junk. No, that's not the case. There are units that should literally be just hauled to the landfill, pretty much. And if you buy a lot, you're gonna get one or two, or more, depending upon how good you are. It's gonna happen. It's just part of the game. But there are units that are full of brand new stuff. There are units full of antiques. There are units full of actually cars. I didn't get this. I wish I did. But a guy a few years ago got a 750, 2004 750 BMW with the title in the unit for $700. It was hidden behind some boxes and stuff. So people put cars in there. I mean, there's really huge units. The biggest thing that I've ever seen, the biggest vehicle, was a fire truck. That was really close to when I started. A beautiful, antique, fully restored cherry red fire truck. Guy bought it for $7,000. Someone immediately offered him $15,000. But he was a dumbass. He's like, oh, I can get more, I can get more. And he still has that truck today. So he's paid $7,000, and he paid rent on it for essentially 5 years and some months. So he's probably up to that 15 grand that he could have got if he had just sold it. And that's something else we're going to talk about. Do not have holditis. Oh, it's worth this. Oh, no. It's worth what someone is willing to pay you at this time. If you've got the money and you want to sell it forever, fine. But if you're trying to make money, you've got to learn, as Kenny Rogers said, when to hold them and when to fold them. And most of the time, it makes sense to sell this stuff as fast as possible. I mean, if you get a unit with, say, really high-grade antiques. Okay, hold on, find the proper auction and run them through that auction. Yeah, that makes sense. That's not everything. Most of this stuff is going to be pedestrian. Everyday common items. You got to sell it fast, and that's how you're going to realize your profit. This stuff about holding, and I just decided, because so many people in this business are pack rats. If you go to their homes, they're literally overflowing with this stuff. They're holding on to this. This is so valuable. I know of one guy, he's got a barn that's full, several storage facilities on his property that are full, and he's building another one to put more stuff in. He's a true pack rat. Will bid you to death just to get it, to go store it, to hold on to it for, what? I don't understand. You're going to come across people like that. It may be you. But the thing is, you got to really make a decision on what you want to do. If you want to earn money, you have to adopt a business mindset from day one. You're going to see a lot of stuff in there that you're going to want to keep. I've done it, and you're going to do it too. And that's part of the business plan. If you see some stuff in there, trade out. Take it home, sell your stuff fast, and you can acquire a house full of very nice furniture. You can get some of the latest and greatest electronics, front loader washer and dryers, all kinds of stuff. But remember, what's your primary focus? To acquire stuff or to make money? That's the question you have to ask yourself, because you can have a house full of stuff in literally a few weeks. Because when you buy these units, it's essentially a household move, especially the larger ones. I mean, you can tell a lot of them, they were moved by moving companies. They still have the wrapping on it, they still have the blankets, and most of the time those are really good units, because unless it's a corporate transfer, not too many people are going to pay a moving company $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 to move a bunch of junk. They're not going to do it. So that's a sign to look for, and we'll go into more detail in the book, because people go, how do you buy a unit? I mean, that's a lot of faith. Oh, it's not a lot of faith. It's just paying attention to clues. You can look at a unit, and once you gain some experience, you'll start to notice there's trends and patterns that start to repeat themselves over and over again, giving you insights to what type of person you're dealing with and what may be in there. And there's some guesswork, and you're going to guess wrong. But a lot of times, you're going to guess right. A friend of mine, he knew about computers. There's this unit, it was full of server frames, and they were all the way in the back, and it just looked like pretty much scrap. And no one really wanted it, and he just went ahead and he opened up the bid pretty high because he really wanted it, and no one challenged him, so he got it for $250. These were not old scrap frames. These frames were maybe 9 months old, and there were servers in the frames. Long story short, he made 12 grand. This does not happen every day. Understand that. But if you have a good, solid business plan, you're making money consistently, you're ahead of the curve, when you get one of these big hits, it's going to be really sweet because you're already taken care of. Your bills are paid, you're making money, you're saving money. So you come across one of those, what I call a jackpot unit. It's really a jackpot. And think about it. Say it only happens once a year. And this is, it could happen to you if you go a lot, but typically the more you buy, the luckier you're going to become. You're not going to do this buying 1 unit a month. It may happen. It may take 6 years to happen. Everyone I know has bought a unit that's had gold or really good stuff in it. Everyone. But like I said, it doesn't happen all the time. But if you are consistently buying, improving your business, selling, it's going to happen to you sooner or later. It happened to me my first month, which is probably, well, not the first month, well, within the first 6 months, which got me really hooked because, I was always looking for that, and no. And that's another thing. When you get a good jackpot unit, put the money in the bank. Continue with your business plan, have an operating budget. It's almost like dollar cost averaging. So you set your budget, and you just continue to do that. Do not increase your budget and go hog wild, because it's like going to Vegas. When you win, a nice sum of money, you keep playing. Usually, the house gets it all back. That will be the same thing with this business. You got to learn to have some financial savvy and financial management, and then you'll see the fruits of that work. I mean, it is probably one of the easiest businesses to get into for the money, but it's hard to stay in because most people that do it don't have goals. They come out and they buy something and they hope to make money. You can't do that. You got to come up with a budget, you got to come up with a game plan, and do a little research for wherever you live to see where you can sell this stuff in a physical setting and online. And there's a lot of tricks to online, because you can take the item and you put it online, that's fine. But you really want to be different from the average bear. You want to have a better plan, and I can teach you that because I was one of the first people here in Atlanta that was doing the storage unit auctions and utilizing Craigslist. Craigslist has been here, I think, 2003, 2004, and it was really mostly techies. Developers, software programmers, a lot of folks from San Francisco that relocated to Atlanta. And I was putting stuff on there and was selling it the same day. I mean, it went on like this for years. People were like, "You sold that already?" "Yeah, it's gone." I wouldn't tell anybody because, monkey see, monkey do. But now, I'm dedicating myself to being a full-time writer, and I'm chasing some other dreams. I am going to tell all of the secrets. And a lot of them will be pissed because They were like, well, why didn't you tell me? I said, well, we're not friends, so why the hell would I? But that's the deal. So go ahead, do some research, read about the articles, and after I get this blog together, which I'm having some technical difficulties with my hosting company, but it'll be put together this weekend, and I'll start adding the content and the stories because I was just thinking of this one guy. He's funny. I just got to take my time and write the story properly because when I was watching the video, hey, it's Glendon again. Today's topic is going to be things not to leave in the storage unit. Understand when you rent these things, there's no expectation that you're going to lose your stuff. Now, you really don't even plan for that, but nevertheless, it happens. So here's a few tips. Do not leave your Social Security cards. Do not leave your passport. Do not leave that copy of your driver's license that you found after you went and got another one, because guess what? It's active. Don't leave credit cards. Pay stubs with your Social Security number, tax records, business tax records. I mean, it's amazing the stuff that people really don't put any thought into. I mean, my girl, she doesn't store anything, and she shreds everything after she goes through it. Business, pay stubs, whatever. That stuff goes through a shredder, which in light of today's world of identity fraud and all types of things that can happen to you, it's really not a bad policy. Some of the stuff that I found just really is an identity theft or thief. An identity thief is just like being in a candy shop. One time I bought a unit, and it was mostly files. I bought it for the office furniture. Getting it back, and there's tons and tons, approximately 12,000 Wells Fargo mortgage applications completed. Pay stubs, copy of your driver's license, copy of Social Security card, pay stubs, credit scores. I mean, I just have a problem with that word. An identity thief would have lost his mind in that unit alone. And that was the largest one. And actually called up Wells Fargo. And they were a little embarrassed, and they paid me for my cost for shredding the stuff. So it's all gone. So nothing bad happened with that. And that's a policy that we just adopted. I've been a victim of identity fraud, so I know the pain and the effort it takes to get your life back. So, we get rid of that stuff. A lot of times we just got rid of personal information because a lot of times they want you to bring that stuff back. Now, if you bought a unit in, say, Alpharetta, Cumming, or you were in McDonough, Fayetteville, or Peachtree City, we're talking 30, 40, 50 minutes to an hour one-way drive to take something back. And in the beginning, we did it. We did it all the time. And a little trend started to emerge. You go back months later for another auction, the stuff's still there. There's a few people who wanted their stuff back and will come back and get it. Most want, and I think it's because of the embarrassment. You've lost your stuff, and now you have to go back to these people to pick up the remnants of their stuff that's been picked through by some stranger. I don't know if I would go back, but just to keep things safe, we would dispose of all sensitive information if there was not a request to get it back. And typically when they request 2 or 3 times, they'll come pick it up. Other than that, the property ends up throwing it away. Or, who knows, it could get exposed to someone else because you never know who works there. There's been situations where property managers have been fired for going through the units. They know a lot. They know if the person's more than likely going to pay. Sometimes they know everything that's in there. And that's one of the things about the auction. When you're sitting there and the property manager's going, oh, there's a really nice washer and dryer in the back. And you can't see it from the door. And really, I'm tall, I'm 6'1", and I'm jumping up and I can't see it. How the hell does he know? Did he have such an excellent memory that when it was put in there? No, a lot of times they crawl up through there. It depends on the property. Your larger properties, they don't have as much of that stuff, but the smaller properties, anything goes. If the owner of the property is conducting an auction, Only bid on what you see. Let me say that again. If the owner of the property that you're at the auction is conducting the auction, only bid on what you see. Because more than likely those little sparkling jewels, the hidden things, more than likely are gone. I don't know how many units I've bought with really nice remote controls for a TV that wasn't there. Come on, America. How many people are going to get the TV and leave the remote? We are all remote freaks. I mean, think about it. Last time that you could not find your remote, you spent more time looking for the remote than you would have if you had gotten up and changed the channel manually and sat back down. We're addicted to those things. So that people are not going to leave them. Big screen televisions, the flat screen televisions really started popping up just a few years ago. And a lot of times you'll see the stand, the TV's gone, or you'll get the remote and the TV's gone. So if you put that stuff in there, where is it? Because if you took it out, you would pretty much know where the remote is most of the time. And there's a lot of things that goes on with these units. You have people who are moving in units together and they break up. Then this partner wants his stuff or she wants her stuff and the unit looks like it's tossed like hell. And I found a lot of good stuff in there because people don't really work well under pressure. And that's another thing that happens with these auctions. People wait to the last minute to pay their bill. I don't know how many times I've seen someone pull, and you know who they are just the way they drive in the parking lot, because it's usually like, they come in, and they get out their car. No, you ain't getting my shit. I got my money right here. 2 months later, we get their shit. Because they do the same dumb shit. They pay their bill, and they leave it hoping for bigger and better things to matriculate that never do. I don't know how many times. Run in, the auction's about to start. They're running up the hill. They got all the cars blocked. They're coming in. I got 90% of the money. Will you work with me? Now, in the storage facility, they'll work with them because they don't want any lawsuits. Because people will sue. You heard me. They will sue. Did not pay their bill, was late, was in a lien status, signed paperwork saying this would happen if you do not pay your bill. And they will sue to block it. Now, any business, and I really understand this, there is a cost to being sued. So you got to weigh it out. Is it worth paying that cost of being sued or just to let this person have their stuff back? So most of the times, the person usually wins, and then sometimes the company's like, screw you. You didn't pay, we got proof, bring it on. And a lot of times, and the companies are getting smarter on the better units. They kind of have a feeling for, if it's an experienced manager or auctioneer, they kind of know what's going to happen. And as soon as the door goes up. I mean, I have seen absolutely lovely stuff just from the door. A Baker's sofa, Crescent dining room set. I mean, really high-end furniture that you're not going to have 8, 9, 10 pieces of high-end furniture and a bunch of crap in the back. No. Typically, like I said in an earlier video, storage units have clues. You'll see a bedpost. You'll see all kinds of stuff that will give you an idea of what you're dealing with. But as I said earlier, please don't leave sensitive information in a storage unit. If it is small enough to fit in the shoebox, keep it in a shoebox, keep it with you. Because say you don't lose it, say it's broken into, same deal. Just some food for thought. Glendon Cameron, and you can check out the blog. We have sorted out all of those issues. It's urbanpackrat/diary. Once again, that's urbanpackrat/diary. It'll contain these stories, which are numerous. I was sitting down last night just creating an outline, and I'm amazed at how much content will be coming out of this. When I just started doing this, I never ever thought I would be writing about it, or even coming on YouTube to share this stuff with you. But it's going to be pretty funny. I mean, the one story I'm working on, and it's one of those don't leave your home porno. Just to give you an overview, dude's about 60 years old, looks like Frederick Douglass, and his girlfriend's 25. That's right, 60-year-old dude with a 25-year-old girlfriend, and all I can say was he impressed the hell out of me. In fact, he had a 25-year-old girlfriend and he looked like Frederick Douglass. I mean, that was impressive all by itself. But stay tuned. It will be forthcoming. Hello, this is Glendon. We're back to you with making money with storage unit auctions. Took a little time off, went to Charlotte, hung out, made posting pictures on the blog. It was a pretty interesting city. Really, really beautiful city. Cleaner than most of the cities I've been to. It was shocking. We got back and was going to the blog, noticed a few questions, and the main one was, can you really make decent money with storage unit auctions? Absolutely. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. It's hard work, but anything you have in life usually takes some effort, time, and that's why I think there's only so many people who are successful and other people who are not. There's folks who are looking for that big, quick come up, that Las Vegas mentality. You know, I'm not going to work hard, I'm just going to wait and win the lottery, or I'm going to get that magic scratch off, or I'm just going to, or someone's going to give me a ton of money. Life doesn't work that way. Success is incremental. You work hard today, you work hard tomorrow, over a period of time it stacks up, you look back, you're successful. It doesn't happen in one grand leap. It's day by day, minute by minute, second by second. Good decision after good decision after good decision. That's what will make you a success. And you can be successful in this business. It takes a little time, it takes some analysis. One of the reasons that I think it was a little different for me, because I've heard from more than one veteran that you really came up pretty fast for a newcomer. Well, I was a newcomer to that business, but I had a business before. So if you are a business owner, you've had a business, you'll probably do better than someone who's just starting out, because you're going to have certain skill sets that they just don't have yet. You know, how to write a business plan, how to conduct analysis, how to watch your cash flow, what metrics are key to you being successful. It makes the difference between winning and failing in this game. So, yes, you can make money, and you don't need a lot of money to start. Of all businesses that I've been involved in, this one had the lowest costs to entry. You could start this business with $100. And I would advise with a minimum of going out with $500 to $600, hopefully $1,500. That will get you more than one. And this is the thing: people come out and they start. They'll buy one unit, go through everything. Then once they make some money, then they'll go buy another. They will buy one unit, try to sell everything, then they'll take that money and go back out and buy another unit. Problem with this method is, on the auctions, wherever you may be, it could be different, but the auctions tend to cluster together here in Atlanta. There's 2 weeks where they're all over the place. So while you're buying that one unit and you're getting it processed, there's other stuff being sold, and chances are you could be missing out. I did it, bought one unit, and I said, this isn't working. Then one day I just pulled the trigger and I bought 6 units in one day. Best thing I ever did. One of those units paid for the other 5 and made a profit on top of that, which means the other 5 were free and clear. I could have sold that stuff for $1, cheap as possible, which I did. That's, speed is part of this business. They're moving it really quick. And, I'll tell you, I spent a total of $800 on those 6 units. The one that I spent $220, it had a, this was when you could sell them, what is that vacuum cleaner? Not the Electrolux, but the Kirby. You had the Kirby vacuum cleaner, the Kirby Ultimate G. Brand new, in the box, attachments, the rug cleaner or carpet cleaner. That thing went on eBay for $560 by itself. There was a Mac toolbox, not a big Mac toolbox, one that you couldn't carry with your hand. The thing was extremely heavy to be, small. This is with my first lesson in how expensive Mac tools are. So the box and the tools, $450. $450. And then, it was full of tools and they were all Mac. So, between 2 items, I made $1,000. I spent 8, and there was a lot more. So this is, the thing. You've got to think larger than trying to do this, the me mentality. I'm going to do, no, you got to start thinking in terms of we. Get yourself a team, hire yourself some people to clean out these units, and treat it as a business, because as long as you keep that me attitude, you will only go so far. There have been people who have been in the storage auction business that I've come to know over the years, 15, 20 years. And they live in a freaking trailer. A trailer. A double wide. And you'll see them, and some of them have the ability to spend a lot of money, but they haven't really accumulated any wealth. 6 years, I was able to get up in the top 5% within 6 years. And there were people who have been doing it almost as half as long as I've been alive, and they were living in a fucking trailer. Excuse my language. Because it's just, it doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't. But it goes back to running it as a business, having a plan. You can make a gang of money in this business. Now, if you're a person with, you don't have a degree, you don't have a lot of formal education, but you're a pretty smart cookie, you could do well in this business. There's a lot of things that you can get to. I mean, I know one couple, and it's kind of funny because one used to be married to this one, now she's married to this, and it's funny, but the female part of the component is the brains of the operation, and she didn't go to school. I don't even know if she graduated high school, but this woman, and I learned some of this stuff from her just listening to her conversation, was able to build a business, pay off her house and her store in 10 years. From scratch. She didn't win any, there was no lottery, there was no one that left her a ton of money from doing this business. And when she comes out, people are like, oh hell, here she comes. Because they know if she wants something, she's going to get it. Because she has the money. Because she's making money. And this is the thing. I mean, I've learned, if you just sit back and just listen. Because a lot of these people are idiots. They will tell you how they did what they did to make money. Because they're bragging. Some of it, you gotta kind of sort through the bullshit and the truth. But if you have any experience, you can kind of get a feel for what they sold something for, and if they're exaggerating. And they'll just tell you. I've learned about 6 techniques from just being in the crowd and listening. Then taking that technique and expanding it, putting my twist on it. Because, the things in the book, I'm going to give you the full Monty. You could just use one and make money. But if you employ all of the horses, you're going to pull your cart a little faster. And it's not that hard. And if it just depends on where you're in the country. Because certain places are going to have greater income potential because of the stuff in the units. If you're in New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Ohio, these are places where, you can get really high-grade antiques. During the Civil War, those places were not burned out. They weren't destroyed, and like Atlanta was burned to the ground. A lot of places in the South, it's very hard to find high-grade antiques, but in those areas, they're plentiful. I mean, you have people who go from California to Ohio to Boston to buy antiques because they can get them there, the real stuff. And you can find that stuff in units. Don't take my word for it. Just buy the book, spend a little money, and you can start to see for yourself. Because as I go through this process, I realize, going from that garage sale to actually opening up the stores was one of the best things I've ever done in my life. It changed my life. It taught me a lot of stuff. Met a lot of interesting people. Continue to meet a lot of interesting people. And you can work from home. That's the big thing now. Everybody wants to work from home. And with this business, you can do just that. All right, well, I have got to go finish writing that book. So check out the blog. I've got a few interesting profiles of people whose units I bought. There's 10 that I'll never forget. They were outstanding in terms of profit and content. All right, well, be good. And I'm Glendon. Out. Hello, it's Glendon again. Back with making money with storage unit auctions. In doing this project, I think I forgot the obvious. There's a lot of people that kind of sort of heard about storage unit auctions. Well, this clip is what exactly is a storage unit auction, or in some places, a lien sale. Essentially, this is the legal process where a storage facility has the right to sell your stuff, to reclaim the space, to re-rent it. Essentially, that's what it is. If they make money off the auction, that money then goes towards the deficiency of the person who did not pay their bill. Sounds simple, but really it can kind of get complex. I've actually seen some facilities get themselves kind of twisted in the legal system because they took half payments, or they made promises and the people had proof that they made the promises. And how does this impact you? It can. You could buy a unit, and because they made promises, you get to the office, try to pay, they're like, we're not going to sell it, and they'll pull it. This happens a lot with very good units. So know what's going on. And I didn't really understand the process till I sat a manager down. We went to lunch one day, and I said, all right, what gives? It's like, lately this has happened twice to me. I get a really good unit, we get to the office, then you're like, oh, we can't sell it. Now, some bullshit, oh yeah, sell it all day long. What is the deal? And he explained that people sue. I know it sounds really, really strange, that someone would sue for something that was precipitated by their lack of paying the bill. But they do. And it holds up the problem. And then, storage facilities in this process of, what's the most economic viable remedy to this solution? To let them have their crap back, or to go to court? And you got to really think of it. Going to court is not cheap. People say, well, they have lawyers. And any time that you start a legal proceeding, believe me, the cost can mount up quickly. I have been sued, and I have sued other people. It's not that easy. If you don't know what you're doing, before you know it, you've spent a lot of money and you've got no results. And when he explained it to me like that, then I started to understand. And it still hurts because it's a really good one. But the thing is, also keep an eye on the unit, because what'll happen, they'll make another agreement with the people, and they failed the first time to follow up. Then the second time they fail to follow up, and that unit can come back up to auction. And you have a pretty good idea what's in there, because usually before, you're not supposed to, but when they're walking off and I'm locking it up, I just kind of walk in, look behind the back to get a better idea of what I just bought. So you have an inside scoop on that. That's essentially what storage unit auctions are, and lien sales. Just a legal proceeding. They advertise in the newspaper or whatever legal organ for that county or municipality, and up until up until you get back to the office, or if you pay in the field, until you pay and get a receipt, legally it is still the property of the tenant that defaulted on their rent. So these are some of the legal ramifications that can mess you up, because people have taken stuff out the unit, left, and their partner's in the office paying, and they're like, oh no, we can't sell it to you. And the guy's like, well, my partner just took the best stuff out and he's gone. All kinds of stuff. And that's why, if you're going to get in this business, develop a way to get your units cleaned out as fast as possible. Because another scenario that happened to me. Bought a unit, but at this point the business was, we're up and running, because in the first 2 years we did everything ourselves. We did all the loading, the moving, and it'll kill you if you're really trying to make money. And to make money, you need to buy a lot of units. And understand that moving a unit is essentially a household move. 10 by 20, 10 by 30, that's a house full of stuff. Fortunately, it's boxed up, you hope. There are times you get in there and people have stuff in garbage bags. I call those Georgia suitcases. See that a lot. Those are typically signs of an eviction. They had to get out as quick as possible, didn't have time to round up boxes, And believe it or not, you still can get a ton of good stuff out of those type of units. It is really strange. But, if you get in the business, get your stuff cleaned out as quick as possible. Always. Two things. You get your stuff. If there's I'll address what I was talking about earlier. If you get caught in a legal situation like that I got caught in, you have a lot more leverage. Get your stuff, and it also gives you a leg up on processing. The sooner you get it, the sooner you process it, the sooner you can sell it. So it makes sense all the way around. Back to the unit I bought, I had my guys clean it out because sometimes I would go through the paper. If it was a full day, I knew I was going to buy. Didn't know what I was going to buy, but I knew I was going to buy. So I would have the guys tagging behind me in the truck. Go out, get them maybe get 2 or 3 units cleaned out while I'm at auction. So they cleaned out the unit, and at this point when you're a regular, you start doing stuff. You kind of know the ins and the outs. You have certain things like gate codes, which are key. A lot of places they don't want to give you gate codes, but sometimes you get the gate code, and as long as you keep your mouth shut and you don't do anything, it can be a godsend. A lot of times I've had gate codes, and new property managers have come up and they didn't know that I had the gate code, and a lot of folks didn't know. Like I said, since I have retired, I can put that stuff out. But if you can get gate codes, get them. Keep your mouth shut, write them on the card in your wallet, and it just makes it a lot easier. So when the guys had the code, we're on to the next property. They had the thing cleaned out about 30 minutes, loaded on the truck. And this is a big unit. It almost filled up a 24-foot truck. Not the U-Haul truck, but the big one, the ones that kind of scare you on the highway. So they called me on the cell. We got it. We're heading to the warehouse. I'm like, cool. Then there's something happened. They're looking for me. That big unit you bought, we weren't supposed to sell it. I was like, oh shit, really? Well, I just sold it. Excuse me? It's like the auction was. I was like, call your people down there. It's gone. And the girl's like, yeah, some guys, they loaded up, and she's like, I don't know how they got in the gate, and they came in, put in the code, and they were back there. Then I saw them leave. It's gone. And I was like, I can call a guy, because obviously it's still on his truck, but he's already paid me. And see, the reason you can do this, because once you get the stuff out, it defaults back to the storage facility in terms of dealing with that angry customer. They could sue you and all this other stuff, but as long as you pay for it fairly and squarely and have a receipt, there's not really shit they can do to you. Nothing. So the storage facility has tons and tons and tons of motivation to get that unit back. I bought the unit for $850. There was $200 for my labor to get it cleaned out. And from what my guys told me, this was a $4,000 to $5,000 unit in terms of the furniture alone. That's not the little stuff. And I was like, Well, I told him, I sold it to him for $6,000. And the guy looked at me, he's like, you're kidding. I said, no, really good stuff in there. If you want it back, he's willing to do it for $7,000. His $6,000, his time and his effort, and potential loss of profits. So call whoever you need to call, and this needs to happen quickly. Well, it didn't happen quickly. They were like, okay, well, corporate America, things don't move that fast. So 2 days later, I got a check for $7,000, and they get the unit back. Now, why was this a good business decision all the way around? Number one, if that customer had sued the storage facility, they could have got hundreds of thousands of dollars. The storage facility had not a leg to stand on. This is what happened. The person had put a card on file for auto pay, and the card expired. But this person came into the office and gave him a new card number, and she was smart. She marked down the date, the time, who she talked to, and she had all this stuff. She had proof, and she had bought some boxes or something. So she was at that facility used that card on such and such date and had proof. The storage facility would have been toast on this one. Toast. Not a leg to stand on. And, I found this out after the fact, but the way that they were calling me and they were trying to put the pressure on me, I was like, oh, this is huge. And the rub of the story is, I couldn't have sold that stuff for that much money anyway. But that's not the point. It's business. Remember, from the first videos, I've always said, treat this as a business. Exploit the weaknesses, know what's going on, know the rules of engagement, and you too can win at the world of storage auction units. Hey, this is Glendon again. I know, 2 videos in one day. Who would have thunk it? Okay, I was just thinking. A lot of times, we as people just do stuff with little regard to why we're doing it. So I'm going to pose this question to you. Storage auction units. Is this the business for you? There's a few things about it. And, I will give you the upside and the downside. And I'll also start with the downside. One, it's very hard work. I'm going to say that again. It's very hard work. Remember the last time that you moved? Think about doing that 2, 3, 4 times a week. Except, the stuff's already boxed up and you're taking it from one place to unpack it, which is very similar to what you did when you moved into your last house, apartment, or whatever. That's key component. It's not going to get away. It's not going to go away. It's not going to get any easier. It's just going to be part of it. And the more you buy, the more of this you will do. Which is the reason that I always strongly recommend outsourcing. It can help. I'm going to say it from the start. If you start off knowing that you're going to need a help or a low crew, you'll be so much better off. When I started, I was stupid. I was Superman. Ooh, I can do it myself. Bad move. Okay. Another downside. You will buy junk. It's going to happen. If you buy enough units, you're going to buy junk. That's just part of the game. You're going to get junk. You're going to get some that are losers. A loser, by definition, is you spent $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $700, and you're taking the whole thing to the dump. That comes when, as I got better, that rarely happened. I can count on one hand how many losers I bought in the last 4 years. But in the beginning, you just don't know. You don't know what to look for. Number 3, there's something called a setup unit or a build-up unit. Storage auction facilities, well, not storage facilities, storage companies, people leave stuff on their property all the time. You'll be amazed at what people leave. Working televisions, washer and dryers, refrigerators, tire, anything you can think of, there's someone that's left it on the property. And depending upon what company it is the job of that storage unit manager to get all that stuff cleaned up. And a lot of times there's a bonus component to their job. So the more money they save, the more money they get for their bonus. So they're not trying to hire some crew to come out there. And if they've got vacant units, guess what? It's going in the vacant unit. Now there are some good people that will tell you, oh, this is our build-up unit. So you go in there and look at it, it's been picked over. But sometimes I have bought build-up units and have just come out great. Just depends on what it is, what type of business you have, and how you're set up. I bought one. I knew it was, I'll even say the company because they're notorious for it. U-Haul. They're real bad about that. So if you don't see it in the unit, don't base your bid on guessing and hoping and wishing. Bought a unit. It looked weird. And I was like, you know what? I need some stuff. I'm going to buy it. $200. Get in there. Find out. This is the stuff of not 1, not 2, not 3, but 6 different people. And they didn't say it was a build-up unit. And I was like, oh, shit, here we go. Well, going through it, my partner's going through the pants. Then she pulls out a wad of bills. I was like, it's probably counterfeit. I didn't even get happy. And took out the little counterfeit pen and, oh, it was real, $1,000. Listen, like, who leaves $1,000 in a pair of jeans? It just walked. I want to be that rich that I could just forget, oh, yeah, that $1,000. Let the maid have it. So, and it was a build-up unit. Obviously, they did not go. People don't go through clothes. You know, if you get in the business, you'll find money, a lot of jewelry, a lot of jewelry. I found guns in jacket pockets. What's up, New York? Yeah, the dude was from New York. Dude had one of those little Saturday night, one of those really little guns. And there was another guy from Philly. He had 9mm sewn into his jacket. Had a little pouch for his 9mm in his leather jacket. It's like, damn, this must be rough up there. Okay, you know, those are some of the bad points. You know, you gotta load. You're gonna buy junk. There are storage facilities that create units, and they don't tell you. There's a few that will tell you build up unit. Sometimes they won't. That's why you have to read the ads and know what you're getting into. There'll be stinky units. There's some people that got evicted, laundry wasn't done, and it's in there marinating for months and months, and it's horrible. Made a lot of money off those units too. Hey, it is what it is. Now, the good points. If you're a person that craves freedom, you have a lot of freedom with this business. You can just buy for a week straight, then take the rest of the month to process and sell. 2, if you're a person that's like me that gets bored easily, you will never get bored with this stuff. What people do in leaving these units will have you entertained for decades. Money. If you are just someone, you got a job and you want to look for a little extra money, you can make realistically, depending on where you are, because if you're out there in Timbuktu, you know, say way out there in Montana and there's not a lot of storage facilities, it's not going to happen. But if you are in any major metropolitan area, in the suburbs, you have plenty to work with. So, you know, buy my book, promoting. That's what I do. I'm promoting. I'm a capitalist. Sue me. Buy my book, go through the steps, and once you get a feel, because in the beginning, you know, unless you might get lucky like I did, you might not. But once you get a feel and develop a process, it's not unreasonable to say a consistent $400, $500, $600, $700, $800 a month part-time, maybe 12, depending on you, what you got going on, your resources, the people you know. It could be more. There's one lady that comes out. She lives in a neighborhood where she can have a garage sale every weekend. And a lot of places, you can only have 4 a year. But she has one every weekend. So from her carport, she does $1,500 a month. She's retired, gets a check. And, you know, a lot of times I used to give her stuff. You know, she's a little old lady. $1,500 a month? Please. There's a lot of folks who work full-time jobs who do not bring home $1,500 a month, which is sad but true. So you've got the jackpot, the excitement, freedom, and if you have a work ethic, if you are self-driven, self-directed, yeah, you can do well in this business. If you are a lazy ass, if you do not have any get up and go about yourself, if you're the person that needs to be told, get up and go get some coffee, or, okay, you read page 1, now read page 2, do not get in this business because you will fail miserably. You gotta have a work ethic. You gotta be that person that no one needs to tell you you have things to do in the day and you can get them done. You gotta have discipline. Got to. It's mandatory. Or you will be forever one of those splunkers. They come out, hey man, I bought a unit. It was terrible. I took half of it to the dump. There's a lot of people out there. They have not made any real money. They're just addicted to that thrill of finding unknown stuff. I just learned to keep my mouth shut because they will tell you so much stuff. They'll give you stuff. Guy gave me, because he didn't want to move it, because, you know, he's not making any money, and it just looked like junk. It was a Duncan Fife table, mahogany, in excellent condition. It was a little dusty. He thought it was messed up because it was dusty. Several layers of dust on it, and the chairs. The chairs had issues, but, you know, with a staple gun, new fabric, I sold that sucker for $1,200, and he gave it to me. It was a real Duncan Fife table. So, there's a lot of dumbasses out here. If you are a hustler, someone that knows how to exploit the weaknesses of others, yeah, this is your business. You could make money just buying. You don't even have to buy units. You can buy stuff from other people. There are people that do that. There are people who buy units, take out what they want, and flip it to someone else. There's so many ways you can work this. I mean, if you could probably come up with something that I hadn't even thought of. You know, my thing was buy, sell, and I created a business, and I had physical space and I had online spaces. So, you know, the world's your oyster. So, you know, just a little food to chew on. If you want to get into business, just some things to think about. And I'll say it again, it's hard work, but it's worth it. It's really, really worth it. All right, be good. I'm out. Hey, it's Glendon again. I got this email from a guy. He's like, I've been going to storage auctions for years and I've never seen any of the stuff that you talk about in your videos, man. Just from the tone of the email, I think that's the way that he speaks. I was like, okay, fair question. I hit him back. How many units do you buy per month? An hour or two goes by, probably less than, right about an hour. I bought 6 this year. Yo, it's September. You've bought 6. This is the 9th month. That's not even 1 a month. When I buy a unit, it's got to be worth it. All right. To win the game, you must play. I have bought 6 units in 1 day. You're not going to make what I call a livable income. It varies. What you may think is a livable income may be poverty to me. But to make a 6-figure income, you're going to buy more than 1 unit a month. More than likely, to get to a certain level, you're going to be buying 15, 20, 25, 30 a month to make a 6-figure income, unless you are just extremely lucky and very, very skilled. You could make, well, I say decent money by not buying that many, maybe 20, 30,000 a year, depending on where you are. In some parts of the country, that's great money. Here in Atlanta, you are starving. Well, no, you're not starving, but it's a struggle. 30 G's a year here, that's a struggle. But you can make money with storage unit auctions. You got to have a method, you got to have a process, and more importantly, you have to have a plan. Oh, here's a little bit about my background. One of the jobs I had, I was selling contract furniture, which for most people is office furniture. If you're in a cubicle, I sold that stuff. When you go in your conference room, I sold the conference room table, the chairs. I was really great at prospecting, finding customers. I was really great at making the call and getting the appointment. But where I fell short was closing the deal. We get in there, show them the product, they've got the proposal, and I would stall and I would crash and burn. And there was one company up in Marietta, a really nice company, a benefits company, and I had sold them on this Brazilian granite conference room table and some other stuff, and we're going in for the last appointment. I was like, okay, I have been here before. Got the interview. We've ridden around town. I've taken it to the showrooms. Where am I going wrong? Then, as I was waiting to meet the people, because there was 2 people signing off on the deal, I was sitting in the waiting room, and I was like, you know what? We're going to do it this time. We're going to make this happen. I don't care what I have to do. I am getting this deal. I am closing this deal. We went in and pretty much just shot the breeze for about 15 minutes. I mean, I had seen these people no less than 8 times. So we were very friendly. And I just reached across the desk and I said, well, here's the proposal, and all you need to do is we need a deposit of 50% of the deal. And the deal was $150,000, so that was a $75,000 check. And I just slid the proposal across the desk and I said, hey, if you got to talk to your financial people, accounting, whatever, we can wait for the check, no problem. And I can kind of get the ball rolling. And the guy was like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, because, you just got the best stuff, the best pricing, and you really helped us with some of the used stuff. So no problem. We'll make that happen. And I talked, shot a little, chewed a little fat a little bit, and I left. And 2 days later, FedEx had a $75,000 check in the office, and it was my first major deal that I closed. And the whole gist of this story for you is, if you go into any endeavor, relationship, school, class, whatever, expecting to fail, you will fail. Sometimes the difference between winning and not winning is attitude. Yeah, you're going to have some lumps and some bruises, but to get in it, you have to think you can win. This guy, Stan, has a loser mentality. He doesn't think he's going to do well, so he's hesitant. Number one, scared money never made money. Believe that. You will learn so much by failing. Is unbelievable. Most successful people have failed so many times that they have developed a set of patterns, history, knowledge base, whatever you want to call it, that makes them successful. Because when you fall flat on your face and hit the concrete, those lessons you remember. They stick with you for life. You don't forget them, and if you are smarter than the average bear, you do not repeat those same mistakes. If you are a dumbass, that's your life. Okay, Stan, so number one, this is your goal to be successful with storage unit auctions because you're in California. I know people out there making CEO money off storage unit auctions. So you're in a great area, there's a great product. If you were in Timbuktu or out in the boonies, okay, yeah, it may not work for you. That's been addressed. If you were somewhere where they don't have a lot of auctions, your chances of success could be slim to none, depending on what you can get in your area. There are people who travel from state to state. And that's how it is. But if you're in any major metropolitan area, you can make this work. So Stan, this is your new guideline. Number one, I will buy 3 to 10 units a month. Yes, 3 to 10. You gotta have something to work with. One may be a loser. It's gonna happen. But I cannot count on that. I can't count how many times that I've bought 3 to 10 units in a day and 1 unit paid for the other 10. One. Now I'm not talking about just got my money back. I'm talking about got my money back, paid my labor, gas, lunch, and a profit off that one other unit. Off that 1 unit, which means the other 9 were free and clear. So the thing is, the name of this game is volume, and it's speed, volume, speed, volume, speed. Buy a lot, sell it fast. That's how you make money. All this one hit, I'm gonna hit a grand slam home run, dude. Forget it. Base hits. If you got a guy who's batting 700, he would be paid more money than any other sport in history because he's batting 700. Every 10 times he gets a hit. Every 10 times at bat, he gets 7 hits. No one's doing that. You've got guys making 20, 30 million a year, hitting 300, 400. So this guy would be a $1 billion player because base hits win baseball games. Think base hits. Forget the home run mentality. Forget the grand slam. Because if you've got 6 base hits, then you hit a grand slam, oh, you just kicking their ass. You can't live off that stuff. That is gravy. That is icing. The real cake is base hits, selling average stuff, selling a lot of it. So when you do come across a great unit, it's really great because you're making money. All right, Stan, from the top, buy more units, sell more stuff, develop a business plan, and stop whining like a little bitch. I've been out here for 3 years and I haven't seen that stuff. You're not even trying. I have bought more units my first year than you've probably bought in these last 3. Actually, my first 6 months. And I didn't buy that many. But anyway, you can make money with storage unit auctions. It all depends on you. All right, I'm Glendon Cameron, out. Hey, it's Glendon again. Making money with storage unit auctions. Over the last few weeks, I've really talked about how much money you can make. Really the good about storage unit auctions. This video, it's about the worst unit I ever bought. Still scarred for life. Let me tell you about it. It was in August. Really hot day. I don't know if the heat had anything to do with my decision-making process that time. It was about 4.5 years ago, and it looked great from the door. The boxes were taped up. Looked like these people took their time to plan for the move. And I had some misinformation. I thought the room was a 10 by 20. If it had been about 10 by 15, maybe it would have been better. No, it doesn't matter how big it was. This stuff would have been crap any way you look at it. I asked the storage facility person how big the unit was. She says 10 by 20. It was really a 10 by 10. It was just packed in such a manner you couldn't really gauge how deep it was. If I had known it was a 10 by 10, I would have not bought it. Because I knew, everyone saw it and it looked good and the pricing, the bidding went high. Got into it with one of my pain in the ass competitors, and I won it for $800 and some change. $820. Got it. Put my lock on it. Was thinking, man, this is a good unit. We're gonna make some money. Not. Come back later on because it's juicy. I want to really get a chance to look at it. Get my guys reloaded up, and it was late, so it's in the warehouse. And then the next day, start going through it. First box that I opened up, it was full of Crystal cups. Crystal, the restaurant, those big gulp cups, it was full of those. Full. I'm talking in boxes, 24 by 24 inches. Full of used Crystal cups. Well, this doesn't make any sense. Okay, next box. Well, I'm actually getting ahead of myself because I was really disappointed when we found out it was a 10 by 10. There was no furniture in there, which I assumed because typically a 10 by 20 that's full and it looks like household stuff, there's going to be furniture. No furniture. Nothing but boxes. But boxes can be good. So it's like, as Jesse said, keep hope alive. Oh, back to the second box. Open it up. It's full of yarn. Red and blue yarn. Not new yarn, used. It's like, okay, this is really strange. The third box is full of crayons. It's crayons, Crayola crayons. Some good, some bad. None but crayons. And I started to get this really deep sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach. Because for me, usually the first few boxes kind of give you a clue, and it's not a hard and fast rule, but typically this unit was going downhill quickly, and I had no idea how bad it was going to get until box number 5. Open it up. It's full of torn pieces of cardboard. Construction paper, as we used to say when I was a kid, way, way, way back then. What is going on? Who keeps this crap? Go through another box. It's full of torn clothes. All right, now we're getting to the point of, am I crazy? Is this the Twilight Zone? And, it just keeps good and it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Come to find out, as we got to the end, this person she had a scrapbooking school. Scrapbooking, where you take pieces of this and that and create scrapbooking. And so she had a whole unit full of scrapbooking supplies, which were worthless. Utterly, totally worthless. $800 plus another $100 plus my time, labor of my guys. They had to be paid whether it was a good unit or not. Just down the drain, essentially $1,000 down the drain. I was disgusted for months. But I'm one, fall off the horse, I get back on, and next week I had to go out there like it didn't happen, and I just kept going, and I bought probably the 8th best unit of my life after that fiasco. Because I was talking about myself. I mean, I was really, really, like when a quarterback throws an interception and how they're just looking like, oh hell, it was horrible. So we get to this guy Brandon. Brandon taught me a lot about bikes. It was a little unit. It's full of boxes again. It wasn't that big. I knew what I was getting into because you could see the backs. It was a 10 by 10, but it just really looked interesting. So I'm like, I'm scared because I'm burnt. I'm burnt. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go again. It looks good, but it doesn't mean anything. I go ahead and get it, and another one of my nemesis. This one cost me $1,000. I'm just, hey, screw it. I'm gonna do it. If I'm going down in flames, I'm going down in flames. I'm not going out like some little dog with my tail tucked between my legs. I'm gonna do this. I get it, and I find out that people pay an amazing amount of money for bicycle parts. They were Cannondale frames, 6 of them. Did not know. I knew a little bit about Cannondale. We had the boxes, but there's different types. And these frames, I was getting $300 to $500 for a frame. Nothing else. The guy had Toe Peak Alien tools. Those things were going for $50 a piece. He had 20. This was great. A great unit. I was just like, okay. Essentially, this guy was a biking enthusiast. He had a job, but he loved bikes. And his thing in life was he was gathering inventory because he was going to open up a little bike shop. Something happened, plans didn't work out, unit came up for auction. So this is how the storage unit thing can go. You're going to buy bad units. I'm just telling you, I've done it. Probably do it again. But you cannot let that dissuade you. You've just got to keep going forward. Because I went from, as my girl says, I went from shit to sugar. Essentially. Well, the other way is sugar to shit, but I actually went from shit to sugar. Because that little unit cost me $1,000. We came right out on top at $21,000. Not bad return for $1,000 plus $200 for my guys to move all this stuff. Because bike parts are hard. Bike parts are heavy. I mean, and I learned a lot. You've got the clips, you've got certain you've got brakes, you've got the wires, you've got the derailleurs, the handle. I mean, some of this stuff, I was blown away at how expensive, bike shoes can be, or the toe clips, or the pedals. Essentially, this is the game. You're going to get good, you're going to get bad, but in the end, it always works out. For me, it did. Well, anyway, this is Glendon Cameron with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. And that was the worst unit I ever bought, followed by one of the better ones. That's how it goes. All right, out. Hey, it's Glendon Cameron with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. Today, this conversation is going to be spawned by some of the things that happened last night. I got a guy, he left a comment, dude, I think you and many others were stupid for giving away information on how to make easy money. Dude. Okay, one of my philosophies in life is you sow what you reap. The more you give, the more that you get. That it's worked for me phenomenally. It's staggering how well this worked for me. So, and not to mention, this stuff's not going to be free. The book, I haven't actually decided how I'm going to price it, but the people that want the book are going to be paying for it. And trust me, the stuff you hear in the videos, that's not the meat. That's not the good stuff. Over the years, I've developed some techniques on how to make money with good units, bad units, ordinary units. I mean, every unit that you get is not going to be a jackpot unit. The majority of this stuff is going to be regular old household stuff. And we've come up with techniques on how to move that. Because the whole thing is, you've got to stay cash flow positive. That's crucial. I don't care what you're doing. If it's storage unit auctions, you're running a dry cleaner, a grocery store, whatever. You have to stay cash flow positive. Well, I mean, look what's going on right now. Many businesses that you never even would have thought of are going out of business. Banks, major banks are going under, are gone under. I mean, I think we're on the other side of the hill on this thing, but still, there's a lot of fallout that's still going to come. There's many folks who are going to lose their jobs. There's a lot of stuff, bad stuff in the pipe. It's still coming out. But, in terms of this business, if you are a go-getter, if you're someone that doesn't need a lot of direction, and you can wake your ass up out of bed every day without an alarm clock, and you're smarter than the average bear, you can make it with this business. But, and another thing I want to address, this guy's like, it's easy money, dude. No, it's not easy. It can be fast money. I've done it several times. Bought a unit Tuesday. By Friday, Saturday, it was all gone. That's pretty fast. The way to make anywhere from 5, 6, 7, 800 to. The best I ever did was 5,000. No, that's when I had to give that unit, sold that unit back. It was 7. But, that was a special circumstance. But if you spend $300 to $500 a week and you've got a plan, you can have your capital, because that $300 to $500, that's your initial capital. Okay, you're looking to double, triple, quadruple that. You're not looking to spend 3, get 3 back. You're not looking to spend 5 and get 5 back. That's what a lot of people do. And there's so many things that they miss. And there's a little special one. I've been working on the book, and I must admit, it's going to be longer than I thought. Because when I first started this, I was like, it'll be 60, maybe 70 pages. I'm at page 100 right now, and there's a lot more to go. So we've kind of pushed that back. So now we're going to deal with some of the comedy. Right now, sex tapes are hot. Kim Kardashian, Ray J, Paris Hilton, everyone's doing sex tapes. Well, it's my belief that people, the stars, they leaked that shit on purpose. I'm sorry, I don't think it was an accident. Because Kim and Ray J both blew up after, Ray J put it to her. I saw it. I'm like, okay. I see what she saw in him. Anyway, regular everyday folks are doing the same thing. And I have gotten tons of home personal movies. Some look professionally done. Some you can tell because the guy's got like the camera in his hand and it's moving like this, and it's funny to them. It's hot because it's their movie, but being on the outside looking at that stuff, oh man, it's funny as hell. So this is my plea to you: please do not leave your personal homemade, poorly homemade porn movies in your storage unit. Don't do it. And out of all the ones I've seen, this one right here will probably stick with me forever. The title of this whole thing is Frederick Douglass Gets His Groove On. Bought this unit, and this thing is, the couple was at the auction, and that happens a lot. The people, they're there, they're like, please don't buy my stuff. Grandma's ashes in the back. I just want my pictures. You'll get that. But this couple was there, and I did not know that they were a couple. I bought the unit, and my policy, if people around, because I knew after I bought it, they was like, hey, big man, can I talk to you? I was like, oh, hell. Because my policy, door down, lock on, I'm out. I'm not going to deal with you there. You don't know what state of mind these people may be in. And, for something like that, usually I will get it that day or later on that night or first thing in the morning, because you never know. Oh, I saw this couple, and they was like, we just want the pictures back. The unit was in a state of disarray. There was no way that I could easily go in there. And with both of them there, I just saw it as being a flashpoint moment. They'll see some, oh Lord, no. So I get it cleaned out later on that evening, and there's a box and there's pictures, and I put that to the side. Then there's a camera, very nice camera, and it's still out of charge. I was like, okay, this is cool. This unit cost me $250. I'm gonna probably get $100, if not more, just for this camera. This is looking sweet. Turn it on. I was like, oh hell. Had to take it out of that little thing and put it up on the big screen. looking. No, it's Frederick Douglass. It's the dude from the auction with the girl that I thought was his granddaughter. Excuse me, I didn't say daughter. I said granddaughter. I mean, dude looked, he was in shape. He looked good for his age, but this was an old man. He had a little cornflake, a little sweet girl, pretty little girl who was 25. How do I know she was 25? Because her driver's license was in the unit. She must have lost it. It was still, it hadn't expired. Frederick Douglass was putting it down. I'm not talking, hey, he's getting some. No, Frederick Douglass was knocking boots. Just, if you, Google Frederick Douglass and you'll see this old black man with a shock of, big shock of hair. And imagine him with Dave Chappelle's body, getting it with a really pretty young girl, hard. I hope that I am the man that Frederick Douglass. That's not his real name. I'm not gonna put his real name out there. I got that too. But I developed a new appreciation for older gentlemen in Atlanta. I don't know if he was Atlanta bred, Atlanta dead, or whatever. But whatever he's taking, I want some. Because dude was bringing the funk. He didn't have any money. Because after you see stuff, and we as men, we judge. You see a guy with a girl, and you're like, what the hell did he do to get her? I know what Frederick Douglass did. He put it down. I mean, damn. I ain't never seen nothing like that. Dude can make money in porno. He could, because people would pay to see that shit. They would say. But anyway, that's the end of this segment. We're getting closer to the release of the book. You can see more tales like this. I'm putting stuff up. In the next few weeks, I'm going to dedicate putting something up every day. So you can go to www.urbanpackrat.com, or you can go to urbanpackrats/diary. It'll take you to the same place. And that's where you're going to see these stories, the YouTube videos. And as soon as the book comes out, that'll be the first place I'm going to post it. And you can also just keep tuning in, subscribe, and you'll be the first one to get some of this stuff in your inbox. All right, Glendon Cameron, making money with storage unit auctions. You have a good day. Hey, it's Glendon Cameron again with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. And, I was just going to leave it with Frederick Douglass, but another thing that popped up that was a reoccurring theme for my purchases here in Atlanta. The topic of this is gay guys have the best stuff. Now, seriously, they do. It's a trip. In Atlanta, we have a very large male homosexual population. And with that, you get a lot of their units when, things go funky in their life, or something happens, lose a job, die, things happen. And their units come up for auction. At first, when I came across it, because the first one I bought was a drag queen. A really, dude must have been like 6'4" or size 15. And dude was huge. I just didn't really see it working out, because I've seen drag queens that were like, wow, that's amazing. But this was like, wow, that's scary. I bought it, and as I was getting in there, come to find out, dude was an attorney. Yes, an attorney, a drag queen attorney. And, since he was so big, the clothes and stuff, they were just terrible. But the stuff that he wore in his everyday life was the bomb. Dude had a Cartier watch. I don't know, I'm a fountain pen freak. He had a Cartier fountain pen. He had a Waterman fountain pen. He had some really nice vintage fountain pens. And back in the day, you could get crazy money for a fountain pen on eBay. I mean, one of his pens sold for what I paid for the unit, which was $550. His furniture was all name brand. Ethan Allen, not Haverty's, Ethan Allen, Baker, stuff that you could Google and like, wow, $12,000 for a dining room table. That's just the table. That's not the chairs, that's just the table. That type of stuff. All his suits bespoke, shirts bespoke. And since he was a large guy, this is a tip for you. Extra, plus size clothing does extremely well online because it's hard to find, and when you find it, it's expensive. If you've got something that's name brand, well made, and plus size, it goes quickly because those people are looking for that stuff and it's hard to find. And it just went on and on and on. This guy has some killer stuff. The shoes, Bally, Gucci, Prada. I was like, damn. At first, when I saw the drag queen pictures, I was feeling kind of like, oh shit, why did I buy this? Then as I got into it, it was like, oh God, thank you. I mean, it was great. And this was a reoccurring theme. I don't care if the dude was messy. It's just, there is something with gay males where they have good stuff. I mean, I don't know. It's great taste, well made. A lot of them just didn't buy junk. It was amazing. And I can't count how many. And for those of you going, how did you know he was gay? This is another thing with the gay dudes. They like to leave lots and lots and lots of pictures. It is abundantly clear from the pictures they're gay. And the posters and the copies of Playgirl and other stuff. Yeah, these folks are gay. And the porno, all gay. And so it's really easy to ascertain that these are gay guys. But with that said, I have never bought a unit that a gay guy had that I regretted. Never. Ever. I don't care if he was just, a regular, hard-working, average salary type dude. It doesn't matter. I don't know. Just great taste. They will spend money. I mean, my first really nice unit was a gay dude. I did not know he was gay until later on when I found the box and found out, he had died from AIDS. That's how we got this unit. And there was stuff in there in the letters to his lover. And it was just, because in the beginning, we didn't really dig deep in the units like we should have. Pull out what looked valuable and sold it. And unfortunately, we didn't throw stuff away. We'll get to it sooner or later. And I have found stuff in boxes. I mean, it's amazing what holds value in the United States. Well, shoot, for the world. We were selling stuff all over the world. Papers, silver certificates, old stock certificates, bearer bonds. Some of this stuff is amazingly valuable. And we got a lot of it from these gay dudes. It's just amazing. It still blows my mind. There was one in particular, and it was a couple, and really don't know what happened to them because it was just strange. My thoughts would be that when you get stuff this nice, they probably were in an accident. They may have went to another country and got lost or something, because this is not stuff that you would lose. Because, like I said, when you get the unit, you get everything. Both of them had master's degrees. One was a psychiatrist, and the other one was not a medical doctor, but a PhD over at Emory. I mean, you get your life. And tax records were in there. Between both of them, they were pulling down 300 grand large a year. You don't lose your stuff making that type of money. And I don't know what happened, but 10 by 30, jammed from the ruler to the tutor. Everything in there was nice. I'm talking from the waste baskets on up. Spent about $3,200 for that unit, and we netted out a good $14,000. I mean, it's just a reoccurring theme. So, from where I sit, gay dudes have the best stuff. We've bought some units from lesbians. Once again, yes, they were lesbians. There's actually another thing coming up about the lesbians, because there's something that was also pretty common with them. But that's a whole nother video. So, hey, if you get in this, just keep an open mind. It's amazing what you can get. And, this is where, talking about different groups, it is what it is. Very rarely got Asian units. Every now and then, but very, very rarely. As a group, they didn't really lose their stuff that much. Jewish people, we get some, and they were always nice, but once again, it was rare. If I had to do the demographics, black folks, white folks, Hispanics. That was the majority of what I got. And you could tell. You could tell when the door goes up. It's amazing. And you don't have to see a picture. You just know. And there's certain groups and certain people, you're going to get certain things. And you just, sometimes you go, yes. And sometimes you go, damn, not again. Not you. Yes. So, okay. Now you got it. If you're thinking about getting in the game, just realize that there are certain demographics that are going to do better than others. Now, you can make a lot of money off of anyone who has good taste in money and has bought some stuff or inherited it. I mean, one of the best deals I ever seen, this guy got this stuff from his grandmother who owned a high-end antique store. And you can't really go by neighborhoods. I used to try that. No, you never know. With storage facilities giving deals, sometimes people go with the deal. All right. It's Glendon Cameron, making money with storage unit auctions. Just letting you know that the book's a little delayed. Because it's really going to be jam-packed. It's going to be a lot of information, and you buy the book, you want to get into it, you work hard, you will make money. How much? That depends on you. But it is doable. Oh, and to answer one other question. It's in the first video, but if you didn't watch it, I am retired. That's my goal. I'm a full-time writer now. I'm working on this book. Got 2 fictional books I'm working on, a book of poetry. So that's where all my energy is going, because I couldn't do both. It would not happen. I mean, when you get in this type of business, it can just take over your life. And it's fun. And you get a lot of stuff and you make money. But, I just felt the calling. Something I wanted to do, and I'm doing it. So that's why. Because if I was not writing and working on that, there's no way in hell that this video would even be made. I would not give up any of these secrets. It would not happen. Believe that. All right, Glendon Cameron, making money with storage unit auctions. Be good. Hey, this is Glendon Cameron with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. Just wanted to talk to you about eBay. I've taken a lot of time off and I haven't really bought any units, and I thought, I really want to give people relevant information. So went out and got some stuff, and I opened up a new eBay account, and it's pretty much as I expected. If you're a new seller and you have no feedback, a new eBay account, new PayPal account, and if you're new, you have no choice but to get a PayPal account. They're going to limit you. I went out, got a little unit, spent 10 bucks, had a nice PlayStation 2 in it and some other stuff. Sold the PlayStation 2 for 50 bucks. The lady paid promptly. They put a hold on it. 21-day hold, or until she leaves feedback or I can prove that it was delivered. So just something to think about, because eBay and online sales are going to be a really critical part to your success if you're buying storage unit auctions, because there's just some things you're going to get more on the online market than you are the local market. It's weird. Things that people will come into the store and buy, they pay no more than $1. It's like, it's only worth $1. It's only worth $1. Put it on eBay, it'll go for 50, 60. I had a quilt. It had no markings on it, but I just knew this thing was old. And I just took a lot of pictures of it because I just held on to it. I actually had it for about 2 years because everyone's like, I'll give you 10 bucks for it. I'll give you 20 bucks for it. And it was a truly handmade quilt. You could tell. And like I said, took a ton of pictures. Took about 20. And I'll teach you how to do that on the online course, because pictures sell your items on eBay. Pictures sometimes are more critical than descriptions, because you've got a whole group of people on eBay who know what stuff are, and they'll tell you. You'll put it up if your description's wrong. They'll say, oh no, that's not this. No, it's not that year. Well, put the quilt up, and I woke up the next morning and I almost fell out of my chair. It was up to $1,200. It's just like, and there was a ton of emails. Hey, would you take this? Would you take this for it? Come to find out, long story short, this was a quilt, and the person who got it, and they were very happy with it, they identified it as something from the 1800s. late 1700, early 1800s, handmade quilt, such and such. I just put up antique quilt, obviously handmade, measures this, and here's 20 pictures. Went for 2,800 bucks. So, and that still happens. It still happens. But, you know, for the people who want to get into it and you're using eBay, if you do not have an eBay account, open one now. If you do not have a PayPal account, open it up now. Start selling stuff around your house now. Because what's going to happen, you get into this business and you're going to get something. It may be an expensive unit, it may be a not so expensive unit, and you're going to have items that the only place that you're really going to be able to move them and get really good coin is going to be eBay. And this is what's going to happen. So if you need your money fast, I mean, you know, being limited is no big deal. I sent the PlayStation out this morning. It'll be there by Wednesday. Oh, another thing. Whatever you send on eBay, make sure it's insured, and, you know, make sure it's worth sending either UPS or FedEx. We used to, you know, DHL was great before they cut their territory, but you want to have insurance. I'm going to tell you why. The post office, and I'm going to say it, the post office sucks. We have lost so many things over the years through the post office. It's mind-boggling. Let me back it up. I shouldn't say lost. I should say there was only maybe 4 things truly lost. The others took anywhere from 3 weeks to 4 months to get there. So you've got your stuff in the system. You don't know where it is. The buyers paid you their money, and they're like, "Where's my stuff?" And there's nothing you can do. Whereas with UPS, FedEx, and these other guys, you have some recourse because, yes, they lose stuff, but at least you can get a check fairly quickly. The shortest amount of time it took me to get a check from FedEx was a week because, you know, they have damaged stuff and we knew their system. There's a way to work that. But the post office, you get what you pay for. Yeah, it may be cheaper, but sometimes it'll burn you on a very expensive item, and that's the last thing you want, because this is why. If they don't get it and then they complain to eBay, your ass out. It doesn't matter if the post office screwed up. It doesn't matter. It's your fault. So just know that. You know, just know that before you get involved. And there's nothing you can do. You can't win with the post office, but you can win with UPS, FedEx. You can't. It's hard to win with the post office. It's very hard. You can have insurance. Then it's like, well, was it packaged right? Or, I mean, all kinds of asinine crap. Alright, well, hey, this is Glendon with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. Just letting you know, if you don't have those eBay accounts and PayPal accounts, and, you know, Amazon, same thing. Amazon has instituted a new program. You know, I should back up. Amazon, if you're new, they will limit you. And even if you're not new, they're holding the money until you prove that you shipped the item. Just some food for thought. I mean, there's really no way to get around that. Alright, well, hey, you have a great weekend, and we are getting close. I've got the book being edited as we speak, and we're going to get ready to do this next week. Have a great weekend. Hi, this is Glendon Cameron with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. Today we're going to discuss one of the best segments that I like is prisoners write the best love letters. I'm serious. Over the years, I've bought a lot of units, and it's really strange. You have a guy, he goes into the prison system, and he's there because maybe he wouldn't educate himself, maybe he didn't have chances, who knows. But it's funny, you won't work at McDonald's, but you're working in the prison industry making pennies on the dollar, going to school, and all of a sudden you become a genius. I mean, it just drives me crazy. The guy had this type of talent on the outside, but he had to go to prison for some reason for it to come out. And yes, it ticks me off. I really hate seeing black men go into prison. I think it's stupid, and I think a lot of it could be avoided. But with that, this is, I don't know if you would call it positive spin on a really bad situation. A lot of them, and I do mean a lot, because we've got over the years, I've probably gotten units, maybe 70 to 80 units that were the former possessions of convicts. That's the reason they lost their stuff. They went to jail, didn't have anyone to take care of their business, and their stuff went up for sale. Get the unit, go through it, and you could tell, because at some point it's usually a shoebox. It's always in the shoebox or a plastic bag. You'll get their prison letters, their prison number, their ID, the charge papers, all that stuff. They just hold on to it. I don't know why. I don't know if they need to, but a lot of times you'll get the letters, and I'm talking a lot of letters. The longer they're in there, the more letters. And one of the most memorable guys, I'm not going to use his real name, I'm going to call him DD. This guy could have been somebody. This man wrote beautiful love letters to numerous women, about 25. And he was getting money out of these women. A lot of money. One letter I remember: "Dear DD, things are not going well for me. I fell down on the job. I'm on workers' comp, and the bills are piling up. However, I'm going to slip you a 20 to help you with what you're going through." Like, what the hell? She is on workers' comp. She doesn't have any money coming in, and her bills are piling up, and she's giving a jailbird $20. It's like, what the hell? Then excuse me. Then I read DD's letters. This guy looked like damn near Jabba the Hutt. He was short, he was thick. I'm not gonna say he was fat, but he was stout. That's an old school word. And I know, got the pick. I got his units. He was a drug dealer. I guess not too good of a drug dealer. I don't know how that whole thing works, but he spent more time in jail than he did out, and he saved all of his correspondence. This guy, who looked like I said, Jabba the Hutt, he has some banging women. It's a trip. I'll sit back and I look at this and I'll go, how? And once again, read the letters. This guy wrote letters that were more prose and poetry than regular conversation. He spoke of things that just would boggle your mind. The last time that I saw you, I still remember the curve of your face and the grace of your lips. I'm like, what the hell? No education. He didn't graduate high school, because in their prison papers, there's all that stuff. Like, damn. And it just went on and on and on and on and on. This guy could woo women. Never met them, never saw it. Well, once he got out, he saw them, because his game plan was he had a whole range of women to go visit when he was free. But he hooked a lot of them from websites and other things. And I think there was a magazine, one of the older guys' units, because it was a magazine where you could write prisoners. I was like, why? But people do what they do. Well, DD was probably out of the best of the bunch. And what's sad about this is this guy, based on his writing, I'm a writer, so a writer knows how good another writer is. Some may not say, oh, he's good or he's okay. This guy would have been the bomb. Still could be if his ass is not rotting away somewhere in prison. I don't know where he was. Got this maybe 5 years ago. But all of them had these characteristics. They knew how to talk to people. And it wasn't just women that got these letters. It was their mothers, their families. Oh, and the favorite, other convicts right between the prison system. This guy's over here in Kansas. This guy is here in Atlanta. I'm just like, madness. The language, the code, you need to get your GED. Get you out of that shit you're in. It just left me speechless. Men who would not pick up a pen, who would not read a book, would not write any type of letter or correspondence, become masters of it in prison. I'm getting a lot of responses from these videos, and I want to say thank you to the people. Any of you that have any background or know of anybody that's in prison, has any insight on this, I would love to hear your comments. Please write me, leave a comment, because it's crazy.
I saw it over and over and over and again. And all these guys have women waiting on them to get married and whatnot when they get out. Man. So I guess, for the sake of argument, until it's proven otherwise, for me, the best love letters I've ever seen have come from inmates and prisoners writing to their loved ones. There was a lot of character, there was a lot of depth, there was a lot of emotion. And these are people who could not do this stuff before they went in. Now, I'm assuming that. I'm going to think there were some that had skills before they went in, but most of them, I would say no. Maybe they had the talent, they had to be groomed while they were in the pokey. And I'll share experience with you. I got arrested for one of the most insipid things you've ever heard of. Used to have a business in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Closed it down. Moved out. Turned in the business license. 2 years later, I'm on Memorial Drive heading home. And the cop pulls up behind me, lights come on, and I'm mad. Just got off from work. It was a long day. We had a sale. I stayed and went and got some units. Worked in the warehouse, so it's like 8:30. I'm like, why is this damn cop pulling me over? I'm insured. My license straight, my tag straight. I'm good. Wrong. Pull over into a service station. Cops come up, both of them on the side, hands on guns, put your chest on the steering wheel. I'm like, why? And the next thing you know, I'm arrested. I'm in jail. Now this is the thing. All he can tell me is there's a warrant for my arrest from the city of Stone Mountain. When we left Stone Mountain, I didn't go through there because it's a dead little place. It's not good for business. It's just not. It's very inhospitable. And then I spend not 1 but 2 days in jail because the city of Stone Mountain is so jacked up. You can't bond. I had the money on me to get out, but you have to pay your bond to the city of Stone Mountain. This is 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night on Saturday night. They're not open on Sunday. Then the girl says, well, you could go pay one of their officers who's patrolling. My business partner goes, takes her 3 hours to find the cop. He won't take the money. Long story short, I spend 2 freaking days in jail. Now, the whole time this is going on, I do not know why I'm in jail. I didn't have any tickets. I didn't have any warrants. I didn't have any charges. Nothing. But I'm in jail. What the hell? Go to court a month later. I'm in jail for 2 days because this jackass who could not stand me, and I'm still thinking about suing. The statute of limitations is not up because this happened this year. He files, he writes me a ticket for not paying business license, but this motherfucker was in the parking lot when the moving guys were moving all the furniture and stuff out the store. He was there, the same one that wrote the ticket. Turns the ticket in, I get a failure to appear warrant. I'm so hot, I swear, everybody in the courtroom knew that if I could have reached him, I would have choked the shit out of him. 2 days in jail over some bullshit like that, and he was in the parking lot when we moved out. And he could not look at me because he was wrong. The judge sensed that something was about to happen. He's like, well, Mr. Cameron, we're just going to call it a draw. We're going to give your bond money back and just, next time close your business properly. It took everything I had not to snatch his ass. Because I knew I couldn't win. I couldn't win. But, while I'm in prison, and this is probably going to be 2 segments. Well, not prison, it's jail. It's totally. Hello, this is Glendon Cameron with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. This segment today is going to be a little different. I was going through my notes, and I remember, this is a good one. You ever break up with someone and not have those answers that you really wanted? You get some, some bullshit. Oh, it's not me, it's you, or something like that, which is so far from the truth, it just boggles your mind that they think you're that stupid. Well, one day I bought a storage unit that belonged to an ex-girlfriend. I didn't know it when I bought it. It just became apparent a little later on. Bought the unit, paid for it, and that was the day that I had the box truck with me, so I was like, I'll just go ahead and load it. It was only a 10 by 10. It only, it cost me $500. Going through the unit, nice bedroom set. Really nice. I was like, okay, this is 3 times my money right here. I'm good. And going through it, and then nice little dinette set. I mean, the unit was packed. I mean, it was really packed well. And I'm going through it, then I start getting this feeling of deja vu. Like, I've seen that before, but not in a unit. And I've seen that before. Okay. And I got the truck loaded, and it's just, I'm really curious because I'm like, I've just feel this. And I start ripping open boxes, which I normally do not do. I do not rip open boxes on site. You never know who's around. I've pulled out guns, I've pulled out alcohol, I've pulled out drugs. You don't really want anyone seeing that, because if, Mr. Cop comes by and it's like, hey, I bought this storage unit, and yeah, this is where this cocaine came from, they're not buying it. So it's really best to sort in private. That's the thing. But I just couldn't help myself. Go through a box. Oh, there's T, which was her daughter. The unit wasn't in her name. It was in someone else's name, but this was her stuff. I was going through it, and I started finding letters and stuff I wrote. I write love letters and all this other little crap. And she had kept all that stuff. And I'm like, what? Because, here's a little backstory. The relationship was going south, and I recognized that it was going south, and I'm not one that's just going to try to cling and hold on. I just stepped to it like a man and said, look, this is not really working out the way. I'm not feeling the love. I mean, do you really want the relationship? Or I just got a lot of stress. I got a lot of stress. Just, that's it. I still love you, and I want the relationship. I'm like, are you sure? And she said, yeah. I was like, okay. All right, we'll see. 2 months later, I called her in not 1, not 2, but 4 big ass lies. At that point, I was like, okay, I should have just went ahead and parted ways before. But back to the unit. I'm going through the unit, looking at letters, looking at pictures, and I get enough information to realize at that time she was cheating on me, and I met the dude. He came to a house party. He knew me, but I did not know him. He knew everything about me, which I thought was strange at the time, but I didn't know shit about him. Sign number 1, when you meet people and they know a lot about you and you never heard of them, just, that's something to be on guard about. I'm going through it and I'm just laughing. I'm like, she kept all this stuff and it was just weird. I was like, damn. I mean, I stepped to it like a man. Ladies, a man steps to you like that and you're not feeling it, why stay? Just go. It could have been cool. We could have still been friends to this day. But, after that, I'm like, forget it. Anyway, going through the unit, finding all this stuff, pictures, and there's, each unit tells a story. She had hit upon hard times, and she had to move in with this other person, and this other person screwed her over, and they got evicted, and that's how her stuff ended in the unit, and it just was a spiral, a downward spiral. I was just like, I feel sorry for you. Psych. No, I feel sorry for the kid. The kid, the mother, the kid, the kid didn't deserve that. The kid was really nice. But it's just amazing how in these years that I've come across so much stuff and I got all the answers, because sometimes that nags at you. Sometimes you just have to let it go. You just have to take a deep breath, let it go, and don't even think about it. But just to get those answers was really satisfying. To know that she lost her shit was I'm sorry, it's wrong, but hey, I was laughing my ass off because she was really bougie, very prideful, and if she knew that I knew that she lost her stuff, it would kill her. I know her sister. My sister and I are still kind of cool. I've never told anybody. If they see this video, they might kind of guess, but oh well. Don't really care at this juncture. So if you're getting the game and you start buying units, who knows when you might get your uncle's unit. I've known people to get relatives' units. Here in Atlanta, there's several different ways that they're listed. They'll list it first name, first initial, last name, or just last name, or the unit number. So a lot of times you don't know what's going on. The celebrities lose their stuff. These rookie football players that come and play for the Falcons, a lot of them have lost their stuff. That first check is gone and they get cut. You just shit out of luck. But anyway, this is Glendon Cameron with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. It's a rainy day in Georgia, really rainy. Hopefully we'll stop soon and we won't get any more flooding. We're getting close. Getting close. Be good. Hi, this is Glendon Cameron with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. In previous videos I told you there are certain trends that emerge when you buy a lot of units. And this is one that's kind of puzzled me. got a lot of units from strippers. And as you know, if you're a stripper, you're making money, or that's the general gist of it. I'm just trying to figure out, I mean, a lot. And yes, I know they're strippers. No woman, well, maybe a few, but not that many women are going to have that many stripper shoes, the platform shoes, the boots, the thigh-high boots, the thigh-high sandals, and booty dust. Picked up a little packet and it said booty dust. It's like, okay, I've never heard of booty dust. I guess that's that sparkly stuff that they wear. Oh, I've got a lot of them, and I can tell you, anytime you get a stripper unit, it's been my experience, you're going to get a lot of really fly gear. Because when they're clothed, when they've got their clothes on, they are rocking some serious gear. And typically that's it. You get gear, DVDs, CDs, you know, a lot of, you know, essentially a lot of bullshit. Nothing of substance. A lot of them, they don't have furniture for some reason. And I want to say many of them have a little drug problem. Maybe that's why they lost their stuff, because I've heard that girls that dance make 5, 6, 7, 800, 900,000, 1,500 a night. You making that type of loot, you shouldn't be losing your stuff. And it's another theme that kind of runs hand in hand. You've got the strippers, the drug dealers, and I guess the hustlers, aka I'm going to be a rapper. And you have, I guess, anyone living that fast life, because invariably you're going to get out of their units fast stuff. Clothes, really expensive clothes, expensive shoes, nice watches, and a lot of times you're going to get gold, 14 karat gold, broken necklaces, earrings, that type of stuff. They don't throw it away, they just keep it and let it stack up in the bag. But you know, I'm just trying to think, how can you make that much money and lose all your stuff, or really not have anything other than clothes? There's just something else, you know, strippers, drug dealers, and the hustlers. And there's a lot of those type of people in Atlanta. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. You get a lot of A&R reps. We've got, I don't, probably if you throw a rock, you're going to hit someone that works for a record label in this town. I don't know how many plaques, or actually, I'm going to do a little research, because I'm going to show you this one plaque I kept, because it was cool as hell. It's got some artists on it that you know. See if he's still around, or what happened to him, and you know, maybe I can. Yeah, maybe I can blur out his name. But this guy had some fly stuff. Now, he was a little different. He had real furniture, really nice furniture from Italy, a sweet platform bedroom set that I kept for about 3 years before I sold it. I got another one I like better, so I just, yeah, and that's something else in this business. You do a lot of trading out. You'll get something that you like and you'll keep it, then when something better comes along, you're like, I'm going to sell that, and then you bring in the new stuff. I've probably had at least 8 different dining room sets, which is nowhere near normal. So I traded out my bedroom set for his because it was nice. And 3 really nice televisions, 1 old school big screen television, 2 flat screen televisions. That's where I got the plaque. He had 4 guns, all which turned out to be, let's just say, you couldn't sell them. Let's see what else he had. Clothes. Dude was a clothes whore. He had so many things. I mean, everything he had was name brand, right down to the tidy whities. And yeah, he was a tidy whities guy. Yeah, you get this. You get this stuff when you get these people's units. You know everything they do. Oh, really cold black leather sofa set. Now, I'm not talking about that pleather stuff or that really low-grade leather. I'm talking about the stuff that when you grab it, it grabs you back. That was probably a grade 6 leather. Nice. I got $1,500 for it. I had to sit on it a while. It took me about 6 months to sell it because I was not coming off that price. I had a furniture store. I couldn't buy that set wholesale for $1,500. That's how nice it was. I was like, you know, I'll just sit on it, and eventually, if my scheme in my house changes, I'll just take it home, because I'm not, this is nice, this is butter. Guns, that bedroom set. Oh yeah, a lot of women in Atlanta are now porn stars. They don't know it because dude had the camera up in his closet and he was taping everything. You know, some of it's kind of grainy and some of it, but you get the gist, because when they're walking around the room you get face shots. But Dude was making porn on the sly. Women, check your dudes. Check it, because I don't know how many of these hustler type dudes have pictures of you. Who knows? You might be on YouTube with the little dot bouncing all over you because they can't show everything. Could be you. Who knows? Let's see. That's about it for this segment. You know, we're getting close. I've got to rewrite some of the book because it wasn't jiving for my editor. And it's like, look, you just got to make this really good. So please have patience with me. And there are some of you, I may just go ahead and sell you the rough draft, and when the book comes out, we'll just send you the book, because I know there's about 6 of you that's like, I'm waiting, I want it. I'm like, gotcha. And that's it. This is Glendon Cameron with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. Hi, this is Glendon Cameron with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. Today's segment is titled Guns, Guns, Guns. Over the years, I've come across quite a few really sensitive items, and this by far is the most critical one, because you can go to jail. Gun laws by state vary. So if you come across some guns, I would highly recommend that you know what the laws are, know what you can do before you try to sell them, because that's going to be the thing. Because guns bring good coin. Believe that. Guns bring a lot of money. I had a Colt Python, which is the Dirty Harry gun. Remember Dirty Harry, Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry? Well, they're very rare, and they're hard to find, and we're talking in really good shape, $1,500. If it's superb, $2,500. Well, that was a few years ago. And just to give you a few tips, if you buy enough units, you're going to get guns. Just letting you know right now. You may get the little crappy, cheap Saturday night special, or some of these guns are really chintzy. Some of these foreign guns, they're like little, and they don't really have a good balance to them, and you might do more harm shooting it to yourself than shooting someone else. But when you get a gun, don't tell anyone. Rule number 1, don't tell anyone. Keep it to yourself until you ascertain the status of that gun. Because if it's stolen, there's really not a whole lot that you can do with it except get yourself in trouble. I know a guy, and this is just amazing. He bought this unit for $25. I was going to bid on it, but I let him have it. I mean, it wasn't what I thought was something worth getting into a bidding war over. It was just a suitcase and a few boxes. Later on that day, find out that suitcase was full of vintage antique guns. I mean, chock full. Some of the guns, the grand total was $200,000 plus on those guns, and this is in a suitcase. Not a carry-on, but a large size suitcase. Well, come to find out that the guns were stolen. So he didn't do it right. He went ahead and he tried to sell it. He started talking to people. He sold a few. Next thing you know, DEA is knocking at his door. Fortunately, he had proof that he didn't steal the guns, and he gave the guns back, and that was the end of it. However, it could have been a lot worse. Alright, so you get the guns, find yourself, if you don't know anyone, find yourself someone in law enforcement to run the numbers. Because in Georgia, it's not like New York laws. If you have a long gun, you can just sell that pretty easily. Rifles, no problem. As long as it's not stolen and you're selling to an adult, it's cool. But check with your state. I'm going to just say that again. Check with your state before you sell any gun to anybody. Know what the laws are in your state, your city, your town, whatever. Because, people talk when you get guns. They want to say stuff. So, as long as you're straight, it's not a problem. But if it's stolen, I'm not saying I've done this, but if it's stolen, you're better off just tossing it. Because this is one of the problems when you get stuff like that. If it's stolen, other things usually are stolen also. So it can become somewhat of a problem. And this is the big one of all. Once again, I'm not saying I ever got a fully automatic weapon. You can have them. The assault weapon ban was lifted a few years ago. You can have them, and if you have a Class 3 federal firearms license, you can own a fully automatic weapon. However, they're very expensive. The license is very expensive. When you move the gun, you need to let them know that you're moving the gun. So it's very involved. Now, if you get one, rule number one, what did I say? Don't tell anybody. And, you know, I'm not saying I did this, but say you get a unit and there's a case and there's like 20 of them. But you're really scared because who has 20 automatic assault weapons? I mean, M16 AR, they were made by Colt, but it's the M16 for the public or SWAT teams, whatever. Who would have this? And I would say, you know, I didn't do this, but you know, I would go to, say, Target, Walmart, and get one of those pay-as-you-go phones before you make the phone call. Because one of my guys that I use to run numbers, his thing was, if it's hot, I gotta take it. Did that once, ended up losing the whole unit. And no, they didn't say thank you. So never again, I didn't do that. So get yourself a, you know, pay-as-you-go phone, call up whoever you need to call up, and just say, hey, are these guns stolen? Is there a list, or someone's missing this many weapons? And they'll start asking you questions, so I've heard. You know, once you get past that and you find out, oh, they're not stolen. Okay, there's plenty of ways you can sell it. You are better off finding yourself a licensed gun dealer who will broker the deal for you. Because when it comes to shipping guns, you cannot ship a gun to, say, someone, well, you could, but it's against the law, and it's big penalties, big fines, and possible jail time. But a gun dealer can ship to another gun dealer, and they can sell the gun for you. Or, you know, they may even want to just buy all 20 of your nice, shiny, brand new, fully automatic weapons. You know, you might even get, $35,000. You never know. But I'm saying, now if you also come across some automatic weapons that are hot, and you make that phone call, I would immediately hang up, turn the phone off, and not saying, you know, this is something you should do, but I would take them apart, because all fully automatic weapons are, you know, they break down for field stripping and cleaning and so on. I would just break it apart, make sure all my fingerprints, you know, or your fingerprints were not on that weapon, and I would just casually throw it away around town. Because if it was stolen and it came out of a unit that was really nice, we're talking Nino Brown, Scarface, nice, you know what's going to happen. They're going to go, well, thank you. We really appreciate that. Now, where'd you get it? Oh, we want all that stuff too. We need to go through it. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. You may get the stuff back after the investigation. You might. But just saying, you know, and I'm just saying, you know, I never did anything like that, because that would be the, destroying evidence, which is also against the law. But if you kept your mouth shut and no one knows, you know, what's going to happen, what's going to befall you, because if they knew where the stuff was, the unit would never come up for auction. And, you know, you do a little research and you find out the previous owner is dead. You don't have to worry about him or her or whoever coming after you. So in other words, with guns, be very, 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 very careful. A hot gun can mess up your life. I know of a guy, he bought a gun, got some guns in the unit, and he did not do any research. He sold them. About 8 months later, the gun was used in the crime. It came back that it was hot. The perp was like, well, I got it from this guy at the flea market. So the police comes to him, and next thing you know, he spent maybe $20,000 trying to keep his ass out of jail because he sold a stolen gun. I think he got probation, and I think he also got convicted, which is not good, because you get convicted, you can't get a decent job. I'm sorry, people just don't look past that. But once again, you get a gun, keep your mouth shut. Number 2, figure out a way that you can get information about that gun without it coming back on you. Oh, and another thing, you know, for your eBay and Amazon stuff, I highly recommend getting a post office box or a UPS center box to keep that stuff from your home. Just, you know, my thoughts on keeping you safe and going forward, just be careful. And I think I touched on this on another video, but similar things with drugs. I've gotten cocaine, I've gotten crack, I've gotten prescription drugs, I've gotten all that stuff. Toss it. Toss it. If you want to indulge, that's on you, but it's not worth the penalty. I know one time I was cleaning out this unit downtown, Peter Street. Hello, this is Glendon Cameron with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. Decided to do this one at night. For some reason, I'm feeling it. Normally I do it in the morning, but I'm up. I'm turning into a night owl. This segment is crack will fuck up your life. I know that's really an obvious statement, but if you've never seen the descent of a person through the crack, it really doesn't have the impact when you really see that someone who used to have it really going on just loses everything, probably even their sanity. Bought a few units, and these two really stand out because these people, they were definitely contributors to society. One was a medical doctor, and another one, he was one of what I would call Atlanta proper. One of the reasons I don't use names is because these are real people. This is real people, this is their stuff, and I don't know what happens to them after. I have no clue. They could be alive, they may be dead, who knows. But I'm not trying to rub even more salt in an already deep wound, because when you lose all your stuff, that's got to be devastating. We'll deal with Dr. Crack first. She was an AKA. She had it going on, and she came from a very nice family. Now, what's strange is apparently she was on the island because the family didn't help her. There was pictures of her brothers, sisters, father, all that stuff in the unit, and you could kind of see the descent, because at one point, she was not heavy, but a thick girl, but really pretty girl. Then it started. I don't know, maybe she went to a party, who knows, but there was clear evidence that she was smoking crack in the unit, because she lived in the unit. You get that sometimes. You'll buy a unit and you'll get that smell like someone's been living here, and the reason is they have. Used to call that the Hot Roach Motel. She was living in the unit. She lost her stuff, and who knows what happened to her, but found some interesting stuff. In her crackness, she still held on to some things. She had some beautiful Lalique crystal, which I found out must have come from a grandmother or someone before, because it was old. When we sold it, we got some really nice money for it. A nice piece of Lalique, depending on what year, who made it, $600, $700, $800, $900. We made $2,900 off her stuff, just a crystal, and I only paid $790 for the unit because it looked like hell. Open up the door, stuff started falling out. I saw a shooter on top of an antique bureau. It's like, damn, crackhead, but it's too late. I had bought it, but it turned out to be nice. There was evidence of being late with her rent, so she got evicted out of her practice. I'm quite sure at that point she probably lost her license. She went to a very nice school, I'm not going to say, but it's just really sad that have someone like that lose it because they wanted to smoke the pipe. I don't know. I've never done drugs. I'm a nerd. Just never done that stuff, and I've always been really afraid of it. Call me a punk if you will. Just my take on it. After my divorce, I was in really a bad way, and I ended up living in this boarding house in the West End. And boy, did I learn a lot about drugs, people on drugs, and the people who sell drugs. It's not what you think it is. A lot of those folks, they're not making any money. One guy I used to know who was one of the drug dealers. He said, "Hey, big man," because at the time I didn't have a car, I was riding the bus. "Hey, can I get a loan?" I'm like, "You're a drug dealer. I should be asking you for a loan." There's a really good book called Freakonomics, and it talks about that. Some of that's true. I don't know if that's all cities, but a lot of drug dealers don't make a lot of money. Anyway, got to meet some of these people, knew their lives, and I just said I would never do crack. And you know, one of those things like you never say never. I can't even smoke a cigarette, so it's not going to happen. Going through a unit, I got a little depressed because, you know, anything can happen to anyone. You know, here's someone who had it, I mean, really had it going on. There were tax records in there. Baby girl was pulling $450,000, sometimes over $500,000 a year. Gone due to crack. Can you imagine that? That type of lifestyle, you go from that to sleeping on a cot in your storage unit. And it gets better, or as a friend of mine says, it gets gooder. Next guy, he was an Atlanta Renaissance guy. He came from an Atlanta family. You know, people went to college long before the United Negro College commercials. He got on crack. But he was a little different because he was a trust fund baby. So he was smoking up his trust fund money. Yeah, I know. It surprised me too. Dude was getting some nice checks every month. But he lost it all. He was getting checks, but you know, he was doing crack. And he ended up getting this huge unit off Northside Drive. I mean, I didn't know this thing was that big. It was about a 10 by 40. I bought it, and I paid a lot for it because you could see a lot of really nice stuff. I paid $1,500 for it. If a certain person wasn't there, probably would have got it for $3. But you know, it happens. You know, when you get out there, you'll see what I'm talking about. Get in there, and there's this beautiful leather ball and claw sofa set. I just haven't seen anything like it. It must have been custom. That was my $1,500. He had the old Marantz stereo receivers. Now, don't take my word for it. Go on eBay and look up Marantz receivers. If you've got the right one, I mean, some of the ones are kind of chintzy, you know, 30, 40 bucks. But if you've got a really nice one, in great condition, all the lights come on, all the knobs are on it, 600, 700, 800 bucks, or well, it was when I sold his. He had tremendous stuff in there. But essentially there was even better stuff in there, but you know, when he needed his fix, he sold this shit. Pissed me off. Well, no, it was his stuff. He could sell it. But sometimes you're just like, damn, why couldn't you leave that in there? He had a lot of guns, gun cases, but no guns in the unit. And he had a story. You know, he was married, he had 5 kids, got divorced, got depressed, started smoking crack. Here's someone who was born into wealth, started smoking crack. I mean, for those of you out there, hit me back. You know, I also want to say thank you. There's been a lot of people send me a lot of love. I get a lot of emails. It's great. I can't believe that, you know, this project, which I started July 17th, is rolling the way it is, because I never thought I would write about this stuff. But that brings me to the book is ready for ebook format. You can go to the blog, urbanpackrat.com, hit that little icon, and you can pre-order, and we will be sending out the ebooks no later than Wednesday. Just waiting on some final copyright issues. And if you want the hardcover, well, soft cover, you want that book, you can also pre-order that also. And we'll send that to you when they're ready. We're looking at 3 to 4 weeks to get those printed up. And that's it. This is Glendon Cameron with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. Hi, this is Glendon Cameron with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. This segment is this is going to be fun, because this guy, I would say, was probably one of my most favorite units. This title of this segment is I Want to Be Superfly. Sometimes you buy a unit, and as you're going through their stuff, you kind of get a feel for the person, and you could just say, this would be someone I would want to hang out with. I'm serious. You know, there's some people that were cool as shit. You could just say it. Just the way they lived their life, the books they read. But this dude, he was, I want you to think, if you saw him in public, you would think he was a pimp in Huggy Fly style, but he wasn't a pimp. Actually, he was a librarian that had a very flamboyant way of dressing. No, he wasn't gay. He had many holes. many holes, and lots of pictures. You know, he was a Polaroid man. He picked up a box and it was coming apart, and they just start falling out all over the floor of the unit. I was like, good Lord. That's what breasts look like before implants? I mean, dude was on it. He's my favorite because he was well read. You know, a lot of good books. But the clothes. This, you know, you ever go to a library or you had a teacher and they have the 1960 stuff on and they just refuse to go forward? They're like, this polyester's still good, so we're going to kick it. This was this dude. The gaiters, the hats with the feathers, the coats. I mean, he really dressed. I mean, you could tell he put a lot of time and effort into his wardrobe. But Superfly was funny. He also had, what are they called? Reel to reel, not reel to reel, but you know, when people used to make their own movies back in the day, he had some of those movies. And they were kind of dirty. When I say dirty, I mean dirty. Dude was just, he was R. Kelly before R. Kelly. I don't know how old these girls was, but he liked them young. Really, really young. And I didn't really know what was on the film until maybe a year later, because we got his unit and just had the film, but there was no camera. And see, this is one of the things about buying storage youngsters. You will get something this month, and later on, some point in the future, you'll get the matching part, or you'll get, like, there's a certain bedroom set that bought it over and over again. It's the Louis Philippe slate bedroom set. I don't know how many times I've seen that same bedroom set. It's just all over the place. Well, with Superfly, think Huggy Bear, but he's a nerd, because this guy was a librarian for the Atlanta Public Library System. And, you know, librarians make pretty nice money. He had some W-2s and tax forms in there. I was kind of surprised. I didn't know they made that type of loot. But the thing that was funny about him, he was a deacon in his church, but he had some proclivities. He liked to drink. Hi, this is Glenn.